Everybody, hello, it's Adam Brown, A Brown ESQ here with.
And it's Mark from A Brown ESQ LLC as well.
Alright, we're going to talk motions. And both myself and Mark are former clerks, right,
Yeah.
of the Superior Court of New Jersey. Mark was in the tax court. That's the more fancy court, in my opinion. It's a little more.
It's a different court. It's a different court.
It's a different court.
It's just a different court.
To me, I mean, when you're looking at the family court, then you go into like the tax court. It's like going from like the inner city to the suburbs. I mean, it's nice. You go in there. It looks like they have appointments. People are seated quietly. Most people have lawyers. It looks very clean, organized, quiet. The whole floor is different.
Everyone's behaving.
Upstairs, where I was working, it was like there were a lot of different people doing a lot of different things. People were trying to get last minute, lots of filings. I mean, it was a whole lot, and luckily it was all handled with the best professionalism. And that I learned how to be like I want to say servant leader almost, because you're a public servant for real where we were working. There's so many people that need help. But anyway, we're gonna talk today about preparing motions for court.
Let's do it.
Preparing motions for court. We're in a new age, Mark. I remember not too long ago where you had to print. You had 2 copies of motions you would print. You had to bring it to the window. You'd have to pay your fee down the hall because the window was a different window. They would stamp it, and then it would say received, filed, and then you had to do that on the day it was due. You had to give it to lawyer service. It was a whole thing. I mean, it was a lot. Not anymore. I mean, it's still with the rules. You're supposed to file it, but there's systems now where it's all virtual. It's on JEDs, which is awesome. And so, when you're preparing the motions, Mark, when you're seeing all the things that come into, what would be your number one piece of advice to get your point across, being a former clerk, to get your point across, to a judge, what would you think now is the best piece of advice for somebody?
If you're writing a motion, I would say the key to a successful motion is brevity. Keep it brief. You don't need to give your life story. There's a lot of less is more. Because judges, you got to remember they're really busy. They're just trying to keep these cases moving, and I would say the less you have and the more concise you are, and the more you're just getting straight to the point, the more effective it is. Would you agree?
I agree. But here's the thing. And I'm just saying, it's an emotional time. Yeah. What we do is emotional. With family law, we do family law, criminal law, tax, and by far to me, criminal law and family one of the most emotional practices you can ever do. Yeah. And there's I just want to say everything, right? There's that I just need to get everything out here, and then you hear counselors and you hear me say you need to just shut it down to just 2 sentences. That can hit different. One thing I wanted to touch on though, the way the courts handle videos now is really interesting.
Yeah, it is.
You got videos now that I think you have to put them on a DVD, not even a USB, because the way the system is, and you can't upload them in JETs. I think Skylar from my office looked into it. You can't just upload the videos, so it's almost best practices. You almost want to just send it to the clerk with your email. You want to send it on a DVD, blank DVD, so that it could be recognizable. But even those, in the moment, are they going to sit down and watch a 20-minute video at the motion hearing? Is that realistic? Is that going to happen? I think it's supposed to, but what really happens, what really doesn't? Motions are fascinating.
Actually, can I just?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll just also add on videos. We're in the age of videos, right? Everyone's watching TikTok like you are now. We're watching YouTube, Instagram videos. But if you're bringing a action against someone, you have to remember the court isn't up to speed in certain technologies. And it's not that your video won't get heard, but you have to be patient with the process. Like, we have to get these videos, firstly we have to cut them down to something that the judge will actually
digest.
Watch. They're not trying to watch your homemade movie for an hour, right? And then on top of that, they only take discs, so that's a process as well. It's not as easy as posting. Like, these things take time. So don't you think there could be like a disconnect between like what the client thinks the court will view?
Absolutely, absolutely. I know there's a disconnect because the reality is, it's one of those. It's an imperfect system. Ideally, yes, you should be watching the whole video. But, and I think it also comes down to where you are, because some courts are busier than other courts. What you need to understand is you can get your day in court in trial. That's a big difference. People want to get stuff done. You file a motion, but you want to get things done at trial in a different way than you do in motions. As a matter of fact, you may want to, not reveal every single thing during an initial discovery of the motion, and maybe wait during the evidence gathering process to slip it in there, then show it at trial. Like, there's different things you can do to have that aha moment that I think everyone wants to have. Obviously, if in a restraining order case, there's something different where it's a lot quicker, but when you're talking about like a long-term case in a family court setting, much different. Now, let's move on to a different area of law in the next video.